you're dealing with someone, let's say, who's trying to make habit change and is failing, but wants to. So they say yes, and then they don't do it, right? So you have to keep sort of reducing and reformulating the practice and keep explaining to them that the practices you're giving them are not just for the pain in their hip, but so that their brain can more easily change the way it does things. So that's the science sort of piece that's interesting, where like if you get someone to do asana with breath, they're going to be more likely to be able to follow through on their intentions. And that's because their brain chemistry changes. Or not even brain anatomy, I should say, changes. Literally, right? They're changing their brain. But people don't know that. So when I touch my toes, I don't think my brain's changing, right? Like it's not what occurs to you. But if you think back at what yoga's done for you, for many people, that's what it's done, right? You do a bunch of yoga, it enables you to materialize your intentions. And that's because you've actually changed your brain. Meditation does the same thing. Asana, breathing, meditation, they all have similar but different ways at going at that. But the science that's coming out now is saying, you know, you throw a bunch of people in an 8-week mindfulness course, you know, who want to quit smoking. And it's because some percentage of people, they change their brain enough that they're able to, you know, follow through on that intention. Different neural pathways, changes in how different parts of their brain grow or shrink, right? Really interesting. Amazing to me, like amazing. Like I'm totally into it because I'm like, every time I go to these research conferences, you've seen me, when I come back, I'm like, oh, wow, I learned all this stuff. You know, what they're seeing now is that in very short periods of time, like you're talking 3 months. And I think the last conference I went to, the effects of yoga basically on the brain, you know, this isn't conclusive, but this particular study figured out that it's basically every 48 hours. So if you can get to someone to do yoga every other day, you have a very good chance of them shifting radically their ability to habit change, which I thought was a great sort of statistic even to know, because that's always been my question. I mean, I practice really regularly, but you know, is it every 3 days? Is it once a week? You know, so part of you wants to be like, anything's better than nothing, but science is helpful because it's like, well, if you really want to change how you eat, how you're able to institute self-care, and you really want to apply your willpower, right, to something that'll work, my suggestion would be every other day, do yoga. Start there. Not every day. Like, don't even try to do that. That's harder. Why do that, right? Like, there's no evidence. I mean, this may be true, but there's no evidence that every day is better yet. So, right? So if you're just going with science, it's like, well, why not? You know, that's how we're going to roll. Like, every other day. So how often should I go to yoga class? Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Like, try that. You know, that's almost every. Like, you know, how often should I do it at home? Do it a half an hour every other day. Oh, okay. Here's a video. Try that for 12 weeks and then come back and tell me if it's easier. You know what I mean? So these are why, you know, these systems for other things, like you see all these ads for exercise stuff or whatever, right? Videos or whatever. But, you know, they usually are asking you to do something where you can see the end. So you have the goal setting for how they want to feel. And then you also want to make a deal with them, because you're asking them to apply willpower, and people have very little willpower, it turns out, like humans. We pretend we have willpower, but every study says we don't have any. We fake that we do. So anyway, so, you know, you want to, let's say you only have a limited cup of will. You don't want to give people random things that might drain it.